Nick K here with another episode of Detective Pikachu Returns. In the last episode, we were here in the jewelry case room exploring around because apparently, the Aurora drop was stolen. So we got a lot of clues, but we could now deduce what happened here, and we could begin deducing. You probably figured out how the culprit stole the jewel by now. Eh? Yep, yes I did. It was cut open because it was under lock and key. Anyways. Alright, select begin deducing in your case notebook. So we will select.
Okay.
Alright, we have a few plausible theories. Which one do you think is right? What does this one say? The culprit hasn't actually stolen the jewel yet. It may have hidden it around the fluff. Well, that is a possibility. I don't think I've checked the fluff enough, but unfortunately, I missed a prompt where I was allowed to check Pikachu himself, and he could have done something else that was silly, but, nope. None of that for me. We know it wasn't by lock and key, but they could have totally cut the case open somehow. I think it was a Scyther or something similar that could have done it.
Okay.
From what we've seen of the crime scene, we could tell that the jewel case was sliced open. After that, the Aurora drop is removed and the case and taken away. Right, and we saw the jewel case was still locked, which supports that claim. We still need to investigate more to determine how the case was sliced open, but at least now we know how the thief got their hands on the Aurora drop. Yeah, we've made our first step forward. Alright, but we still have the evidence, baby, just in case. You understand? Yes, I do. Yep, once I've got some evidence, I'll start deducing. Feel free to start deducing answers when you feel like it. Yeah, but I usually prefer when I get everything. You can never have too much evidence, you know. After investigating the scene, we know now how the crime was carried out. We could be certain that the culprit sliced open the case and took the jewel from inside. But there's one thing that's strange. Oh yeah? Think, Tim. What's strange about the way the crime was committed? Well, the door was not cut, but the glass was. So how did they get in the door?
Oh.
The door to the storage room was opened with a key, but the jewel case was locked when it was sliced apart. That's right, so that means the thief only had one of the keys, the one to the storage room. They didn't have the key to the jewel case. According to Mr. Dennis, he and Mr. Barnes can access the jewel storage room. I understand why police suspect Barnes, but I'm not so sure. Obviously, it would be the best if we could talk to Barnes ourselves, but he's still being questioned. We just need to ask Mr. Dennis about the lock of the jewel case. Right. After we wrap up here, let's go ask him. Oh, he's up here now. Hello. How's the investigation going, Tim? Oh, Mr. Dennis. Sorry, I couldn't stand just waiting around. Have you discovered anything? It does appear that the culprit used the key to get into the storage room. We believe that they cut open the jewel case and took the Aurora drop. Is that so? I suppose that doesn't help Barnes much since he has access to the key. I have a question for you, Mr. Dennis. Who has the key to the jewel case? I have it right here. I always carry the key to the jewel case on my person. I've known Barnes a very long time, but I still won't give him this key. Okay. The security of the jewel case is my personal responsibility. Got it. So both Barnes and Dennis can access the key to the jewel storage room. But only Mr. Dennis has the key on the jewel case itself. That's valuable information, Mr. Dennis. Thank you. Really? I thought that might be getting in the way, but I'm glad to hear that I could help. The Aurora drop is meant to become a symbol of revival for Rhyme City. Anyway, I'm counting on you, Tim. A symbol of revival? Let's ask Mr. Dennis about that later. Alright, so now our next page in the notebook is Bards the culprit, yes or no? The thief cut the case to steal the jewel, but they had the key to get into the storage room. And the only people who have access to the key are Dennis and Bards, so that would make the police suspect Dennis. If the key hadn't been used to unlock the storage room, Bards would have been under suspicion in the first place. Why would he do that, knowing that people would suspect him? Maybe he didn't think that far ahead. In any case, based on what we found at the scene of the crime, we can't be certain of anything just yet. We need to talk to Bards and the other people in the mansion to hear what they have to say. Not just the people, the Pokemon too. I'll interpret for you when we talk to them. Alright, I'm counting on you, Pikachu. Okay, now that we've got our next steps figured out, let's start interviewing. Alright, well, we won't deduce yet because we still have to investigate stuff. We probably don't have much else to do in this room. This is the jewel storage room. Yes, I am aware. Okay, we still know about this. In the last episode, I believe we went through and figured out that there are blue feathers in certain places here and in the jewel storage case room. That's for sure. Do we have to investigate area there? Oh. We can't go in barging into rooms. Gotcha. Man, this music is a bop. Like it. Who are you?
Hello there, Detective Tim. Oh, I mean, Detective Goodman?
Larry Turner. Oh, he's a staff member. Okay. Wait, are you the detective, right? That's what Mr. Dennis said, at least. The name's... Wait, that's not proper enough. Sorry. My name is Larry Turner, and I am the member of a house staff. House staff, huh? Seems over his head. If you need anything, just let me know. I mean, please inform me if... You really don't have to be so formal with us. Thanks. That's a huge relief. I got this job a while ago, but I'm still not used to talking all this fancy. Uh-oh, is that a problem? Well, it's a good thing for me that Barnes deals with all the important guests. My main duties are taking care of the Pokemon, managing the house, and groundskeeping. And I can handle all that no problem. I don't know, this guy isn't exactly filling me with confidence in his ability to do his job. Anyway, you wanted to talk about that? You wanted to ask about what happened, right? I mean, I already told the police everything I know. Alright, I'm sorry for taking up more of your time. Oh, that's not what I meant. I'm not complaining or anything. It's just I don't remember what happened very well. Something attacked me out of nowhere and I blacked out. Something attacked him? Okay. Can you please tell us about that more, Mr. Turner? Sure, no problem. Alright. About the crime that took place. Right, so where to start? I was just doing my job like normal today. I made food for the Pokemon, did some cleaning around the mansion, that sort of thing. I think I was tidying the garden when it happened. I saw Ducklet fly out of the second-story window. As I recalled, I wondered where she was going. I mean, usually Ducklet just walks out the front door. It seemed weird to me, so I went upstairs to see what was going on. That's when I saw the door to the jewel storage cage room was wide open. And as if that wasn't shocking enough, the moment I went in to look inside, I suddenly got punched by a Pokemon. The next thing I knew, I was lying on the sofa and so I was treating my wounds. A Pokemon punched you? Okay, so we have Hariyama and Poliwrath as suspects because we saw them outside. Although if they were still fighting with each other, they're probably not in. Somebody like, I don't know, Hitmonchan? Hitmonchan might have done it. Yeah, I feel like I feel like I glimpsed a small red figure for just a moment. Based on the size, it couldn't have been human, so I was guessing it was a Pokemon? A red Pokemon. Do you know what kind it was? I'm really not sure. It happened all so fast. I see. I'm so sorry that happened to you. But I'm glad you weren't seriously hurt. Well, Hitmonchan has red boxing gloves. Maybe I'm not thinking of all my Pokemon. There's like over 1,000 of them. That's what the doctor said too. No Pokemon would want to steal the Aurora Drop. It's possible the culprit ordered their partnered Pokemon to swipe the jewel and punch out Turner. So, Tim, now that you've heard Turner's story, what do you think? We need to find the ducklet that flew out the window and that red Pokemon too. Yep, you got it. Alright. Did you see anybody around that was suspicious or anything?
Excuse me.
Did you see anything else that happened with the Pokemon attack you? The thief who brought the Pokemon along was probably nearby. Unfortunately, that's all I saw. I see. Can you think of any other details that might give us a clue? Nothing in particular is coming into mind. I mean, Mr. Dennis is such a nice person. I never heard of anyone holding a grudge against him. I was really surprised to hear that Barnes is a suspect. You don't think Barnes is responsible? I guess the police must have had some reason to suspect him. But honestly, I just can't believe it. Barnes is still showing me the ropes around here. He's a great co-worker with tons of experience. I mean, if you'd known Barnes before all this, you would have never imagined him being the thief. Interesting. Okay, what about the Aurora Drop? What do you know of it?
Excuse me.
Do you know anything about the stolen jewel? The Aurora Drop? I've never seen the thing. It's been shut up in the storage room ever since it was brought to the house. Of course, I know it's valuable and all. I assume that's what's been causing all the arguments between Mr. and Mrs. Dennis lately. Mrs. Dennis? Where is she at? What sort of arguments? In case you haven't heard, Mr. Dennis says he's going to donate the Aurora Drop. Seems like Mrs. Dennis is against the plan. They've been fighting about it almost nightly. Every night? That must be up to... It really must be a point of contention. I guess Mrs. Dennis just doesn't want to give up such a valuable jewel. So the Aurora Drop's been driving a wedge between husband and wife, huh? Sure has. Hi. Suddenly Clefable. All ears for mansion gossip, huh? Fab. Oh, it's Clefable. Mrs. Dennis's partner, apparently. Can I ask you a few questions? Whoa, what gives? No need to be rude. What's wrong? Seems like she's real suspicious of us. Maybe she's feeling insensitive after the incident here. Okay.
Yes? You certainly don't look like you're with the police. State your business.
Your husband hired me? We're detectives. Mrs. Dennis asked us to... Oh, sorry. Mr. Dennis asked us to investigate the incident that occurred here. Detectives? Oh, I suppose my husband did say something about that. Your husband? That means you're... Claudia Dennis, Shenji's wife. I'm so sorry to bother you, but do you mind if we ask you some questions? I do mind, actually. I'm going to have to ask you to leave. The case has already been solved. What do you mean? The police said that Barnes is behind all of this, so the matter's settled. We've heard he's under suspicion, yes. But we can't be certain it was Barnes who committed the crime. You sound just like my husband. But nothing you will say will change the fact that Barnes is the culprit. Barnes' partner Ducklet was up to no good. I saw it with my own 2 eyes. Okay, so Barnes owns the Ducklet, but that doesn't explain the red Pokemon around here. Did you witness the crime? Barnes' Ducklet was involved with the crime? You look as though as you don't believe me. Alright, what did you witness?
Excuse me?
Is it true that you witnessed this crime? Well, I didn't exactly see it clearly. Huh? But I did witness some irrefutable proof. What exactly did you see? At the time of the incident, I was enjoying a cup of tea in my room on the second floor. Just then, I noticed a Pokemon flying outside the window. A bird Pokemon? Yes, I clearly saw a blue bird Pokemon. It had to be Ducklet. We did find blue feathers near the window and in the storage room, so those were Ducklets. In hindsight, she was obviously stealing the jewel. I heard a faint sound just before that, like something metallic. A metallic sound. Do you know what could have made that noise? No, I don't, but the storage room was ransacked, wasn't it? I suppose she must have broken something in the act. And I heard it confirmed that it was Ducklet's feathers that were in that room. Isn't that proof enough that Barnes is the culprit? No, it doesn't explain the cotton on the floor. She's pretty darn convinced of her own theory. But it's all based on metallic sound on the side of the flying blue bird Pokemon. Pretty flimsy if you ask me. Yeah. I'm sorry, Mrs. Dennis, but that information alone isn't enough to definitely prove Barnes is the culprit. Then hurry up and find out whoever it is and get the jewel back. Is that what my husband hired you to do? I get that she's upset, but she doesn't have to take it out on us. Yeah, I know, really. Alright, what about Barnes?
Excuse me?
Mr. Dennis seems confident that Barnes is innocent. Oh yes, I'm sure he is. He's always been too trusting, especially when it comes to Barnes. Those two really trust each other that much. I've told that Barnes has worked here for a very long time. Much longer, in fact, than I've known Sanjeev. I suppose that's why Barnes has always taken my husband's side. What do you mean by this? Whenever my husband and I have a disagreement, Barnes inevitably sides with Sanjeev. Even though I'm sure he believes he's impartial. That lack of self-awareness is yet another one of his many flaws. I get the feeling that Pawniard is not a huge fan of Barnes. Do you think that's why she's so sure he's the thief? Alright, what about the Aurora drop? Or Ducklet,
Excuse
sorry. Could you tell me more about Ducklet? Ducklet is Barnes' partner. She dotes on him tirelessly and is always by his side. Okay. You mentioned earlier that she might be involved in the crime somehow. Would Ducklet be capable of such a thing? Yes, she even helps Barnes out with his shopping. She's sure to be capable of making off with the jewel. Well, whether or not Ducklet stole the jewel, the one thing that seems certain is that she really loves Barnes. Okay, what about the Aurora drop?
Yes?
The Aurora drop is an incredibly valuable jewel. Mr. Dennis told me the same thing. But do you really understand? Can you even comprehend just how valuable it is? Huh? I knew it. Just look at those blank expressions. Hey, my face always looks like this. As it is, I'm not even sure where my husband understands the true value of that jewel. After getting his hands on something like that so precious, why would he want to donate it to Rhyme City? So you're against the donating of the Aurora drop? Of course I am. Treasures like that are meant to be paraded around for the general public. They should be preserved for a quiet observation by a select few. Hard to imagine her quietly doing anything. Alright, that's all we have for right now on her. Let's see if... Oh, Inspector Holiday has something new to say.
I see.
Ask anything about. About... Do you know anything about my dad, even though we're still in the middle of this investigation? Inspector Holiday, I know this has nothing to do with the current case, but... You want to ask me about Harry? Yes, do the police have any new leads on my father's whereabouts? I'm sorry, Tim, but we haven't made any developments on that front. Oh, well, thanks anyway. I still don't understand it myself. Harry was working on the art case when he went missing. So as it stands to reason that if you follow that thread, you'd find Harry too. But the case has been closed and we still don't have a single clue. Seriously, where did Harry disappear to? Don't be discouraged, Tim. Look how far you've come in 2 years since you moved to the city in search of your father. You've become such a great detective that the mayor himself recognized you with an award. You'd find Harry, I'm sure of it. And in the meantime, I'll keep offering whatever I can to help. Yeah, you're right. Thanks, Inspector Holliday. Alright, that's all we could do for that. And nobody else is here. Can I get in here? No. Oh, sorry. It's really easy to mash through it. I'm assuming this is their room? Okay, yeah, it totally is. Let's see. Nope, nothing. Okay, maybe... Well, he seems to have something new. What's this? It's some tea to serve to visitors. I prefer coffee myself. Actually, does Pikachu have anything to say?
Great Detective Coffee Note number 1. Here's some wisdom about coffee. Good coffee tastes good, even cold. Bad coffee tastes bad, even freshly brewed.
Some thoughts to those cookies, I guess. Ask me anything you like. Okay, how about the symbol of revival? What is that? What do you mean by that? What makes the Aurora Drop a symbol of revival? 2 years ago, during the art incident, my jewel shop suffered considerable damage. Wait, you were a victim of the art incident? Yes, some Pokemon who had been exposed to art went berserk. Their rampage destroyed my shop, to say nothing good of the damage done to my jewels and other goods. By that time, I already had the Aurora Drop. I kept it stored safely in the shop. So the Aurora Drop was the damage too? No, as a matter of fact, it wasn't. Of all the jewels in my shop, the Aurora Drop was the only one to remain unscathed. In fact, debris fell so perfectly around the Aurora Drop that you might believe it was being protected. That's incredible. I guess there's some magic left in the world after all. Ever since then, the Aurora Drop became known as the jewel that survived the art incident. People started visiting my shop just to see it. And thanks to all that attention, my business was able to get back on its feet. Sounds like a valuable jewel, in more ways than one. What made you decide to bring it back to your mansion instead of keeping it at the back of your shop? I decided to donate it to Rhyme City. The Aurora Drop? But why would you donate something so precious to you? It's just not precious to me, and that's exactly why I've decided to donate it. Mayor Myers has done his part in improving our city by declaring the start of the Pokemon Friendship Week. I thought it was about time I did mine. So I wanted to donate the jewel that survived the art incident as a symbol of Rhyme City's revival. I hope that by doing so, I could liven up not just my shop, but the whole city as well. Wow, Dennis, I'm impressed. That's a wonderful gesture. I'm glad you think so. Not everyone is so pleased about it. Oh? Oh, forget I said anything. I should have burdened you with concerns over such personal matters. For now, I'm counting on you to find the Aurora Drop as quickly as possible. Understood. We'll do everything as we can. Now then, Mr. Barnes, we'll thank you not to leave this mansion until further notice. Understood. Hey, it sounds like the police finished questioning Barnes. Let's go talk to him. Yeah. He kind of looks like the other guy we just talked to. How did it come to this? Why are the police so suspicious of me? Excuse me, are you Mr. Barnes? Who might you be? I'm Detective Tim Goodman. Mr. Dennis has hired me to investigate the crime that occurred here. Is that so? Ah, my apologies. I am Brandon Barnes. I work here at the Dennis residence as a butler. Do you mind if we ask you some questions, Mr. Barnes? I realize you must be tired since you were just questioned by the police. Please, don't worry about that. If you've been hired by Mr. Dennis, then it is only my duty to give you my full cooperation. Thank you. What would you like to speak to me about first? Alright, what happened at the time of the incident? Where were you?
Yes.
I was away when the incident occurred. It wasn't until after I'd finished my errand and entered the house that I realized something was amiss. I heard Turner cry out from the second floor. When I rushed upstairs, I found him collapsed on the floor in front of the jewel storage room. So that means Barnes was the first witness to arrive at the crime scene. Did you see the thief or their partner Pokemon? No, nothing like that. Wait, if Barnes ran up the stairs, do you think that he would have run straight into the thief? If he didn't see anyone, could they have escaped from the second floor? Did you check the storage room? Yes. The door was already open, and when I looked inside, I saw that the wardrobe was gone. I then contacted Mr. Dennis and the police right away. Is there anyone else who could corroborate your whereabouts? Unfortunately not. It was only after that Mrs. Dennis came out of her room to see what the commotion was about. And the only others in the house at the time were Growlithe and Clefable. Naturally, no one could take witness statements from Pokemon, so I am afraid I have no alibi. That's where we come in. The Pokemon that live in the mansion might know something. We'll definitely check that out. Okay, about the culprit. Mr. Barnes, do you have any idea who the thief might be? Not a clue, I'm afraid. But I do know that Mr. Dennis and I are the only ones who could freely use the key to the jewel storage room. Okay, same testimony, so he's not quite a liar. Growlithe guards that key with constant vigilance, so I imagine it would be very difficult for anyone else to take it from her. I suppose it's no great wonder that the police suspect me, given the circumstances. But I would never do something so senseless. At least this confirms that only those two have access to the key. About Ducklet.
Yes.
Ducklet is my dear partner Pokemon. Just look at this photo. Oh, that's cute. That's the Ducklet with you there? Yes, isn't she adorable? Just look at her feathers. Simply beautiful. But that's not all. She's also incredibly clever and even helps me out with my work. Oh, excuse me. I'm terribly sorry. I tend to get a bit carried away when I speak about my Ducklet. It's really no problem. You mentioned that she helps you with your work. What exactly does she do? Let's see. She runs errands for me, such as buying coffee beans from a local cafe. Oh, she buys coffee beans. Nice. There's a place nearby called High Hat Cafe. Perhaps you have heard of it. She regularly goes shopping there by herself. If that's their go-to cafe, then it's gotta be for the High Hat blend. Guess I shouldn't be surprised that Rhyme City's elites have such refined tastes. I asked her to go to the cafe today, in fact, but she has not yet returned. Could she have wandered off somewhere? Do you have any idea where Ducklet might have been? Unfortunately, no. The feathers found at the scene are Ducklet's, right? Yes, no question about it. But I haven't the faintest idea why Ducklet's feathers would be there. Just the thought of her getting caught up in the crime somehow. I'm so worried I could hardly think straight. Alright, can you tell us about the Aurora Drop? Out of all the jewels in Mr. Dennis's collection, he considers the Aurora Drop to be the most precious. He worked tirelessly to acquire it in the first place. You might even say the Aurora Drop is the physical manifestation, the crystallization, of Mr. Dennis's career as the jeweler. I wish nothing but swift retribution on the thief who stole it from him. For someone who speaks so formally, Barnes is a pretty passionate guy, isn't he? Please, Tim, find the Aurora drop, I beg of you. Don't worry, sir. We're on the case.
Well...
Based on Barnes' testimony, I'm not really surprised this police suspect him. Yeah, if there were only another witness at least. About that, aren't you forgetting something, Tim? Huh? Barnes told us that the Growlithe and the Clefable were in the mansion at the time of the incident, remember? Oh, right. Maybe the Pokemon saw something. Exactly. You could leave the rest to me. Let's go question them, Tim.
Tim,
Alright.
Tim.
I know. We'll get to that in a second. Actually,
Yo, Manectric! Working hard? Hey, what did I ever do to you?
okay, I'm glad I saw that. That was the type of stuff that I remember for sure in these games. In this game. Anyways, I think we'll call it quits for now. Thank you guys for watching. And in the next episode, we'll question this guy that's my rival for sure, and the Pokemon around here. We'll see you guys then.